The dark world of drugs. A place with no light and shade, just the continual craving. Drug addicts are ordinary people, not rich or poor, not black or white. They are the people who we hope will get their lives back one day, if it's not too late. Learn from those who have been there.
What you must understand is, in the beginning, alcohol we used to steal from our parents. But when we got introduced to dagga was a very cheap drug. I mean, 2 rand of dagga could last a week in the beginning. You know, and then slowly but surely it did started to cost a lot more. But the problem was, you know, I mean, with luck with anything, as soon as everyone jumps on the bandwagon, the price goes up. But it wasn't a problem because I pocket money, and I always had older friends than me who were working. So, I mean, that wasn't a problem in the beginning. But slowly but surely, you know, as you get introduced to more and more expensive drugs, your habit increases through the addiction, and obviously you're going to start spending a lot more money, needing a lot more money. And unfortunately started stealing at home first, then stealing from my buddies, and then street crime, and then whatever means possible to get the drug, as long as you get it.
I think as a kid, I now look back in hindsight, I can see certain areas of my life where I felt why I had hang-ups. And one of them was that I had a weight problem. I was a little bit chubby as a kid, and I had a few nicknames that guys used to call me. And I think from being like a chubby little kid, that first time that I got out of it, or the first few times I got out of it, turned me from being like a chubby little kid into this like well-built, cool kind of guy, you know. And that feeling remained in the back of my head, and that was a dangerous part. That is the dangerous part of addiction, because you never know what's on the other side. I mean, you can try it. I had friends who tried it and never touched it again. And I tried it, and I was an average kid from a good home, and if you would have said to me, do you think that you're going to become an addict after my first joint of dagga, I would have said to you, no way.
No, a lot of people say, his dad was an alcoholic, that's the reason he became what he is. I don't believe that. I believe I went into drugs purely through experimentation. I never once, in the beginning, early stages of it, say, my father's an alcoholic, I'm going to do drugs. No way. I just wanted to be one of the crowd. But slowly but surely the problem did become drugs, okay? And my father's drinking did become a problem to me. And a nice escape was to use the drugs. But it was never an excuse to drug. I'm responsible for the choices I make. I think what caused my drug addiction was lack of education into this field of what we're dealing with, drug abuse.
I was, you know, breaking into houses and stealing from friends and stealing from my family. But when I first started with the drugs, I used to save up all my lunch money that I used to get. And then at the end of the week, I'd have enough money to, you know, buy this or buy that, whatever I wanted. I used to pawn a lot of things. My clothes, my CDs, radios, and anything I could get my hands on. The guy that I met was drugging at the time. He was shooting heroin and pinks. And so I felt that I had to, you know, do whatever he was doing so that I could stay there, you know, because I didn't want to go home and I had nowhere else to go. And I didn't want to go sleep on the streets again, you know, and especially in the middle of winter, it's not nice. And so he, you know, shot heroin, and then I started, and then it was the cocaine, and then Mandrax.
It started out, I started smoking in primary school, and then I started modelling at a very young age, and I got involved with older girls and competitions for older girls, and I developed an eating disorder. And through that I was introduced to a psychiatrist who institutionalized me, and eventually I was on 22 different psychiatric drugs at the age of 11. From there it just progressed to illegal drugs when I left the hospitals, and eventually landed up on crack cocaine.
And all the time that I was getting out of it and escaping reality, every single morning that I woke up, I felt the scared little school kid that I was before I started using drugs. And the people that I hung around with at school, and the friends that I had at school, was to set the patterns for my life. And there came a time where I turned around and I actually looked at where I was and where certain of my friends were, the guys that weren't drugging. And I was going nowhere, and these guys were finishing university degrees, steady jobs they had, and here I was just living from one day to the next, one weekend to the next, and I was getting into a lot of trouble.
I was losing my life, and it was, like I say, an uphill battle. You know, you don't just say one day I'm going to stop. It took me more than 9 months of heavy rehabilitation and in and out of 11 institutions to get there.
Difficult.
Yeah, and today is still, as I say, it's just for today. I won't promise anybody or commit myself to say I won't do it tomorrow. I obviously don't want to today. But you know, a crisis might arise, whatever. Because what we do is we look for excuses to do it. And those excuses are there, boy.
Well, I realized that I could never use drugs ever again in my life if I wanted to be anybody. And I think at the time it was actually quite a welcome thought, because I was in a rock bottom state. I was willing to try anything, and I hated who I was and where I was going. And all I could remember was that it just seemed like yesterday that I was this innocent little kid at school, and drugs weren't prejudiced, boy. They just got hold of me and just pulled me down.
Now, what we're finding now a lot in schools is the age is younger and younger for taking drugs. We've seen grade 1s on crack cocaine getting involved in prostitution, and it's everyone's getting involved now. A while ago, you never really saw black women or blacks getting involved in drugs, in serious drugs like cocaine, and now what we're finding is everyone's doing it. It's not just a select few anymore. It's the majority now are involved in drugs.
My friend, she introduced me to Nigerians. I started. I started smoking cocaine. I started smoking cocaine. All my clothes, all my money is gone. I've got nothing. I've got no place to stay. I've got no place to sleep. If I've got no money, if I go there to ask for cocaine, they chase me. They say, my friend, leave me alone. Don't give me a problem. You see, and it's bad for me. That's why I'm smoking cocaine, because I just want to be on the street for 24 hours. If I get a steamer, he gives me 50 rands, I go there to the Nigerians, I buy cocaine. All the money I get, I go there, I buy cocaine. But if I don't have money, there are no friends, there's nothing. All the friends, they run away from me. If there's no cocaine, there's no friends.
I used to always believe that there was a magic tablet waiting for me, or the doctors would do an operation, or some miracle would happen. So I cry with the kids. And then I die to kill the craving and to kill the pain. And when I get up, I go for my new life and wait for the next school. And I'm slowly but surely starting to adjust to the normal world. But it's hard. It's very hard. Because, you know, there's an amount of, everybody has a certain amount of pain and no more. And I've got to go to that place. And it's hectic. It hurts. I know my lady, hey, she cries. But someone's got to do this. Someone has to do it. And maybe this is my cross to bear.